1994, I was diagnosed with acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which is kind of a misnomer right away, but if you are going to have a leukemia, it's the one you want to have, they say, because the survival rates are so high. About midway through the treatment, actually, I went into remission in 1996, and then they were saying, well, we're starting to see signs of the leukemia still present, so we're going to have to change your protocol. So they did that in 1996, and then by 1997, everything was good. I was in remission, and I've been in remission now for 20 years. There I was attending a local Catholic elementary school called Holy Rosary, and it was a phenomenal place. It still is a phenomenal place. I moved on from that elementary school over into high school, and I chose to be a brother's boy. I chose Christian Brothers High School. While at CBHS, I started to cultivate an interest that has remained with me for the last 12 years of my life. I had this idea based off of what I was noticing just by my friends on the basketball team and in other sports. They're given over so much to their personal lives, with their, with their significant others, with their family, with their trying to juggle their academics, trying to juggle of course, their athletic proclivities, that they didn't have a lot of time left in their schedule for faith, for the spiritual life. But in my view, from the A's to the Z's, Zoroastrian, there's a spiritual aspect to every human life. And what I wanted to sort of cultivate and look into was, how can they cultivate this interior life, this spiritual life, exteriorly? And that was the interest in what I call, and what scholars call, sport spirituality. The Benedictines say, ora et labora, prayer and work. There's got to be a way where we can weave together our spiritual life with our sports life. I formed a program in the year 2009 called the Faith Development Program for Athletics at Christian Brothers High School. I wrote my first paper based off of all that I had formed with this Faith Development Program at CBHS the years before for a class called Christian Spirituality. My professor at the time, Dr. Emily Holmes, said, this paper is really good. And I was like, all right, it's really good. I want to try and move this whole idea of sports and spirituality ahead. I attempted to publish this paper that I had written for Dr. Holmes, and the first journal that I sent it to was called The Catholic World, a journal at the intersection of faith and culture. It's published by the Paulist Press, the Paulist Fathers. As luck would have it, completely unknown to me, the editor of that journal, his name was Father Michael Kerrigan, I'll never forget, he had written a chapter in a textbook on sports and faith. And he was just like, this is great, not enough people are talking about this, I want it for this journal. So after that paper was published, I started to realize and started to see and meet so many other scholars in this field. And that was also the year that I incorporated this program, which I ended up titling Sport and the Spiritual Life, which would later become the title of my book on this same subject. I've been given a second chance at life here. So I'm trying to make the most out of the earthly one that I'm given, in the hopes that there is an eternal one ahead. If there's any way that I can possibly give out of my very self what has already been given to me in greater measure than I could ever hope for, then I hope I've made not only God happy, but my family, my friends, the Benedictines that have educated me so long, and the Christian Brothers.